the premise for Twas the Night Before Christmas sounded really interesting, and it seems to be really well rated, so I was looking forward to this. But unfortunately, I don't think it lived up to my expectations. This was released in 1974, directed by Jules and Arthur Rankin Jr., based, of course, on the Clement Moore poem A Visit from St. Nicholas. And the premise, as I said, did sound really fascinating. A town has been struck off of Santa Claus's list because one child sends him quite an insulting letter. And I love that. I love the idea of a child still taking the time to write a letter to Santa, but not devoting all of his love to Santa at that particular moment. And I thought that was a really fascinating concept. And the fact that the whole town is no longer going to be getting any presents because of this one little boy. Really interesting. I was curious to see how they would resolve this, how they would bandy together and work out a way to solve this problem. And I was kind of invested in that aspect of it. I was curious to see how it would work. And it was a little bit unpredictable, so that aspect of it I definitely praise. But I think where it didn't work for me is that it keeps cutting from this human family to this family of mice. And it's probably meant to be quite cute and adorable, and these mice are obviously working through the same problem. But I just found it kind of jarring, and it didn't really work very well, and I didn't really feel any connection to the mice. Yes, they were quite cute. The animation quality is not my favourite style of animation. The editing is okay. It's a little rough around the edges here and there. But I think I would have enjoyed it more if the mice weren't in it and it hadn't tried to be even more than what it is. On the surface, on its own, the narrative was interesting. But when it kept cutting to the mice, it was jarring. It's only 25 minutes in length. It meant that we didn't have as much time to work through this problem with the human characters. And for me, that kind of just ruined it. But as I said, it does seem to be really well received. It's got 7.3 out of 10 on IMDb across over 3,000 reviews and ratings, which is really good. That's a really strong rating. I don't know if that's people reviewing it nostalgically. I had never seen this, at least in my recollection. As I said, it was released in 1974. So it was probably on TV at some point in my childhood, but I have no recollection of it. But I think a lot of people loved it, and that's brilliant, and if you are nostalgic for it, that's great. I've watched it once. I don't regret watching it. As I said, the narrative was quite fascinating, and I was quite curious to see how it would unfold. But it wasn't perfect. It definitely wasn't as good as what I hoped. But if you're looking for a Christmas animation that you haven't seen and this one seems to appeal to you, I'd say I'm happy to recommend it.